And we are live. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Isle of the Damned. No, not Isle of the Damned. This is a different series I do. Hello and welcome to House of Tremere. Fuck that up. Um, Hello and welcome. I hope you're excited for an episode of fun, doom, and possibly the end of the world as we explore the 1990s or 1999s and face down the destruction of order and the proliferation of chaos amongst the House of Tremere. This is where I play Vampire the Masquerade with my lovely cast here. And we get to all kinds of hijinks. With that, I think we can go to introductions. I think this week, let's start off with Cyberbro, why don't you introduce us to yourself and your character?
Howdy, I am Cyberbro. You usually may see me on Gathering of Branches. Before that, I was on the Tellius Legacy, and here I'm playing a totally different type of character, not a knight, but a doctor, Doctor Quentin Quangle. Um, so he is a master of both the flesh and the mind, and an all-around nice guy. Yeah,
Eh, this is a good dude.
he's a good guy.
All right. Uh, Up next. Uh, let's go with you, Zach. Why don't you give us an introduction to yourself and your character?
All right. Well, I am Zach, and tonight I'll be playing the hyper and full of questions, innocent little Hasib Kavisna. He is the newest one in the chantry here in the Tremere. He's only been born for 1 year. He's a youngin, and in doing so can't properly face some of the horrors that we are finding ourselves in. So it's all fine. This is all a test. It's just a drill. Don't worry. It's all gonna be fun and rainbows at the end. So don't worry.
Exactly. All right then. Next up, uh, Ree, why don't you introduce yourself and your character for us?
Hey everyone, I'm Ree. Excited to be here as always, playing Maruna Mezi, the seer of the group. Um, Likes plants, does tarot readings, thinks something bad is happening, and it is.
Very nice.
See what comes of that.
Yeah.
Apparently, no one trusts her except Hasib, which is to be expected. Who trusts each other in Vampire the Masquerade? No one but Hasib.
That's true. Uh, Next up, Emily, why don't you give us your introduction of yourself and your character?
I'm Emily. I play Tess Price, who is the resident nosy neighbor, it turns out. Not only is he a bad changer of light bulbs, he is now the head of security and regularly rifling through drawers and stuff that does not belong to him. So,
Very nice. And last but certainly not least, Bob, why don't you introduce us to yourself and your character?
Hi everyone, Taking Time Bob here. I will be continuing to play the best fictional middle manager you've seen since Arnold Rimmer on Red Dwarf. Uh, his name is Jordi Rivera. And don't worry, he totally knows what he's doing, especially when there's no one to give him guidance. And you're all lucky to have him as your regent. So let's see how this goes. Yeah.
Exactly. Then. And I am your storyteller, Mark, aka the CatsMeow, and I will be your guide through tonight's unfolding chaos, as it usually tends to be. Uh, with that, why don't we start off with a question? Who would like to lead tonight's recap of the previous events of last session?
I can do it.
All right. Lead the way, Cyber.
Just to clarify, last session we were 199 days till Y2K, right?
Yep.
Okay. From the desk of one Dr. Quentin Quangle. 199 days until Y2K. Caligula, the radio host, plays Depeche Mode Enjoy the Silence. I enjoyed when the music track went off. Within the quartermaster's office, I looked through my mind to find details about gargoyles and their like. I shared that information with my colleagues. There, me, along with the more notable members of the chantry, and the hound, whom we would come to know as a betrayer, but that wouldn't happen just yet, went out to look for the pretty gargoyle. Geordie, much to my chagrin, forced us to stay all together. This would have dire consequences later. While traveling through and checking the rooms, the hound stayed in the hallway by himself. Dear Maruna, went into my library to find the pretty or angelic gargoyle there, huddled in the corner. We all joined Maruna in the library to see her feeding the gargoyle blood from her own body, or her vitae, to use the industry term. I made a quip. Hasib asked for cameras again, and we went into the hallway upon determining that this gargoyle was far too simple to be the one to have killed our former head of security. The hound was nowhere to be found, and there was a hole in the wall going outside of the chantry. Geordie was not pleased. We all returned to the library after some brief time by ourselves, where I stacked books and actually did my job compared to the others. A brief conversation ensued regarding who would be Primogen. I put my name in the ring for that, but surprising no one, Geordie did not make a decision. Then, out of nowhere, more than likely called by Geordie, Caius, our well-dressed executioner, returned. Geordie got a talking to for allowing the hound to escape. I noticed a bit of discomfort as Caius arrived. And that's where we are. Once again, everything is Geordie's fault.
Right. Very well done. You can have a point of temporary willpower back. And if you haven't spent any, you can have an extra point on top.
Yay.
Alright then. I think with that, we can jump into tonight's events. As we focus in on the chantry. With all our dear kindred, our dear Tremere gathered, except one, who seems to have left the chantry for the night. As we focus in on the path that our dear Kess has taken, we see him walk past a radio that our camera focuses on once more. As we watch it splutter and blast to life, continuing on where it last left off. Alright, folks. Welcome back to Caligula's Countdown. We're here just counting down the days till Y2K and playing your favorite 90s hits. It just so happens we got a cool caller on the line here. So, Wayne, what's up, man? What's keeping you up tonight? Hey, Cal. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Name's Wayne. Currently cruising through, Lansing, Michigan. I got something on my mind about all this Y2K stuff. People freaking out for no reason. Well, you're in good company, Wayne. What's your take on it? I think it's all a distraction. You know, those folks at the top. The corporate ones that are running the show. These people, it's like they've been around forever. As if they don't age, Kyle. I've been hauling freight for Ironclad Logistics, and trust me, I've seen it all. The bigwigs, these guys, some of them have the main right. Almost as if they're not even human. Wow. That's quite a lot to say, Wayne. I assume you've got some specifics you want to give us? I'm telling you, Cal, these people, they're like beasts. Monsters that wander through the night. They've been infiltrating everything. Running banks, media. It's like no one gives a damn anymore. These people, they're like wolves, man. Wolves in humans' clothing. Waiting for the right moment to take over everything. Goddamn werewolves. Whoa. Hold on, Wayne. Did you just say werewolves? Yup, that's right. The elites, politicians, all of them. Wolves. They've been pulling the strings for centuries. And we never saw it until it was far too late. Wow. Didn't expect to see that one coming. Well, now you got me hooked, Wayne. So, what kind of, song does a trucker like you need to get their way through the apocalypse? Well, Cal, I've always been a big fan of the real McCoy, so, could you play Runaway for me? I think that's what I need to get me through the night. Well, alright then. Runaway by Real McCoy coming at ya. Hold on tight, folks. Things are gonna get wild tonight on Caligula's Countdown. We hear as the music begins to play out, and we hear a slight sigh escaped from the radio host of Caligula. He's gone from being one of the premier morning radio hosts to being stuck on the graveyard shift of a frequency no one ever listens to except for crazies and people that just want to pick a fight. But he does it anyway. Because after all, what's the point of anything else, right? With that, we find ourselves focusing in on Kess. Tell us, where is Kess going on a night like this?
Hess is making his way to where he would normally go to see his friends who tell him secrets.
Alright. I think with that, we focus in on the New Angelheim underground. What were at one point a series of mine shafts has been turned into was for a moment being revolutionized into a subway system. A way for people to get around the bustling city of New Angelheim. That was until the city ran out of money, ended up having to sell off a bunch of assets, and really the whole project was just kind of abandoned. That itself is no problem to the true denizens of the underground. The creeping and crawling clan of vagabonds and monsters. The Nosferatu. It is with that we focus in on Cass arriving at one of the many entrances to the underground. Is there any specific way Cass goes about contacting his friends? Does he have a specific signal or call or something?
I think he probably has a way of I'm trying to think of ways to do it there, to kind of tap on the wall to
Alright.
like make an echoing noise. To see who he can get.
Alright. We see as you tap on the wall and the sound of the echo carrying throughout the underground, spreading out almost like a crack in glass. Before finally, an answer is found. As a real unpleasant looking gentleman steps out from the darkness. As we see a man in a heavy trench coat that covers a lot of his body. Though we can see one of the arms doesn't seem to quite fit in the sleeve, as we see where bits of bulbous flesh presses tightly against the fabric. One of his arms seems to extend down into what seems to be a constant fist, where bits of bone have protruded from the knuckle. Almost as if his hand or his fingers have ripped through his flesh and now extend outwards as little bits of extra fingers or hand. We see his face is mismatched and the skin is full of bumps and strange protrusions. As he looks over to you with a snarl. You would recognize this as a Nosferatu that goes by the pen name Bitegeist.
That's amazing. Okay.
That's bite with a Y, by the way. Post the
Okay.
if you make things easier. Where are you, Bitegeist? There we go. Bitegeist. He steps forward. Well, well, well. If it isn't Cass. What brings you all the way here? Have you got something for us?
I was actually looking for something. If that's alright.
As you hear the cracking of bones and the tearing of muscle. Yes, you've earned a bit of leeway with us. What are you looking for exactly?
Is the father in?
He's a little busy at the moment, but I can organize a meeting if you really want one.
It's just what I want to know. I think I need someone older than you or I. Respectfully.
Not gonna lie, that kinda hurts like a dagger to the heart.
I apologize. You know I don't mean you any offense.
I know. Alright. I'll see what I can do. What exactly are you looking for? Gotta be worth Rimogen's time.
An event that happened 10 years ago. I read something about it and I want to know more.
All right.
He should have been Primogen during that time, if I'm correct. I may be mistaken.
Well, he's been Primogen for a long time. I'm sure he'll
Yeah,
know
that's-
something.
Exactly.
All right. I'll see what I can do, but it might take me a few nights.
That's absolutely fine. I understand his time is valuable. Give him my regards.
Of course. I'll make sure to. Sure, the
Anything you
Padre would
need
be
from me?
interested to hear that you called, though. Must be desperate if you're coming all the way out here yourself.
Needed some air.
Well, don't they give you that in pyramid school or wherever the fuck you come from?
I think you and I know I would have made a better one of you than one of them.
I don't think you would have thought that. Not if your
No.
condition was the same.
No, likely not. But
I can't exactly say you're the lucky one either.
are you looking into any information? Or should I let you go about your night?
I'm looking into a lot of things. One has to do with some strangeness that was noticed to be happening over around your people's way. Something flying off into the night. Any idea what that could be?
Interesting. That would cost you dearly.
No, you can't blame me for trying.
Well,
Alright. I'll speak to the Padre and maybe he'll give you the time, maybe he won't. Things are busy these nights.
I understand. Well, have a good night.
You as well, Cass. And good luck.
To you too. And he'll just turn on his heel and walk out.
Alright. With that, we return back to the chantry where we last left off. Cass has walked out of the room. Before that, the executioner, Caius, had also left, instructing you all to figure the fuck out what happened to the Unbowed and get it back. At least that was his orders. We'll see if you choose to listen to them. With that, how would you guys like to leave on or continue?
I think Maruna's gonna. Is everyone else still in the room?
We can assume, yeah. Maybe.
Sure.
So, do we have any idea how we're gonna go about this?
I can procure a map from our storage. Oh, sorry. I can procure a map from our storage shelves. Give me one moment, and Quang will go and try and get a map of the city.
Yeah, get yourself one of those large city maps. It looks like it's been edited and changed a couple times to be updated as the days go around, but gives you a good idea of well, how it looks.
Right, this one may not account for the new McDonald's on 6th and Engelham. However, it is a very good map. And he lays it out on a large table.
All right. So, should we divide up the city?
I'll remind everyone that there are Assamites present in the city right now. Dividing up could mean death.
Not dividing up means no matter where we go, we're leaving a lot of space uninvestigated, giving him a lot of room to move.
Well, perhaps searching an entire city and the sky above it may be a little difficult if we are on a time frame. I'm not sure what the test requires, but perhaps if we look into a ritual of some sort. Is there any way we can track gargoyles? I mean, they have a connection to our clan and our blood, and maybe there's something in the library for tracking down, gargoyles who have left the chantry.
Worth a shot.
Dr. Quengle, why don't we put you in charge of that? Take Hasib or anyone else who volunteers. Let's do this right. There's no reason to do this the way that others might. Let's think about it first, do our research, and make a decision.
Quangle will go blank-faced for a moment. He's going through his mental Rolodex of the library. Where in the Dewey Decimal System that I'm trying to impose on this library, books on divination be? Would we have any books on divination?
You probably would.
Okay, no worries. So he's not blank-faced. Yes.
Oh, just say, it's likely you have one, but it might take some time to find it and get it out of storage or wherever it is.
No worries. I will go and search for this book. Hasib, I'll leave you with dear Geordie, the regent. Maruna, if you would come and assist me, that would be great. I would recommend that you check with, should you think this is a good path to go down, that you check with the executioner to see where he and the previous regent, beloved by all, captured him. Usually, this is a sentient creature. It's more than likely going to return to the scene of its greatest failure, or if it has any other desires. That's just my recommendation, Regent.
Your recommendation is heard.
Right. Okay. And ensure that you all sign out of the library if you leave the library to sign out. And Quangle will walk off to look for books on divination. If Maruna wants to join him, that'd be cool.
Yeah, she will. She'll kind of wave to Hasib and give a nod to Geordie. As soon as they're kind of out of sight, she's gonna say to Quangle, we can't let Caius be the primogenitor, right?
No, I believe that would not be for the best given his personality flaws. He's an amazing dresser, though. I can't take that from him. He's the only one who dresses better than me, and I hate him for it. However, it would not be for the best. But since he's here, we should use whatever knowledge he has.
All right. I'm behind you. You put your name in the hat, I'm behind you.
Oh, I appreciate and thank your vote of confidence. But this is Geordie's decision to make, and the consequences will fall on Geordie should he choose incorrectly. So we must support our regent so long as we are able to.
I don't think that we're what he has to worry about. Geordie's his own worst enemy.
Oh, that isn't entirely true. Have you seen the way he dresses? He looks in the mirror. He dresses like that. Then he goes out. Terrible.
I'd say that's just supporting my my theory.
So yep, I get a ladder and we start going through books.
All right, then.
Mhm.
One of you or both of you can make an intelligence and occult to go through the books to attempt to find a ritual that can aid you.
Okay. Whoa, the page just changed. Okay. I'm sorry if this is taking so long.
Mm.
My
Oh, there's the
dog
token.
is in the face. Modifier. Difficulty 6.
Difficulty will be 7 in this case.
This is why we need the Dewey Decimal System. I could just look up where the books are. You know, I could just look up in it.
Would we get a bonus if we institute the Dewey Decimal System?
It's
I
less
do actually
finding where the
know how
book
to use
is,
it.
but finding the right book.
Oh.
There's not one that's like divination for dummies. Alright. 3 successes on both sides. Also, during this time, I'd like you all to roll me a d10.
Oh, this.
All right.
Alright. Alright then. With both of you bringing 3 successes to the table, you are able to find a book that can aid you in attempting to divinate the location of another individual. There's only one problem, though. It requires either the blood or the physical aspect of the person that you're trying to find, or an item of importance to them.
This is wonderful news. Assuming the dear regent can speak with the executioner and get some details, he'll be able to produce the other half of the equation.
Yeah, and worst case, we can at least we could search the dungeon.
True. See, we have options. Let's just hope that Steve is able to bring this one through for us.
This is good.
Alright then. With that case, Geordie and Hasib, what are the two of you up to?
Hasib probably would have followed behind Jordy. If Jordy was going somewhere, Hasib's jotting down notes and was like quiet, which is strange, but he's jotting down notes. So he'd probably just follow Jordy out of instinct.
Yeah. Jordy, without sort of even talking to Hasib, just walks back to the office, his office specifically. And he'll sit down in front of the phone, pull open that book of his with the numbers in it, and he calls Caius first, which I'm assuming, given he just left, will probably go to some kind of answering service or something.
Essentially, yeah, it goes to a voicemail, and it's like, and this voice would say, the number you're calling, this machine is already full, and then it ends.
Damn, he says. Actually, this can't be at his office phone because his office phone is in pieces. We'll say it's at another phone.
Yeah.
But he then makes a call to the sheriff.
Okay. It rings for a few moments before a voice answers. Make sure I actually get the name right. This is Helen Cartwright speaking. Who am I speaking to?
It's Jordy. I didn't get the opportunity to talk to you at Elysium.
Yeah, things have been pretty busy lately. What is it? Is there something I can do?
You know why the Assamites were let in?
Yeah. Who knows why the prince does anything these nights? I've tried to talk to him about it, but he seems to be dodging my meetings. Or maybe Brand has been dodging them for him. Whatever the reason, I haven't spoke to him in about a month or so.
You know what kind of problem this poses for us, right? We're the first ones on their hit list whenever they show up anywhere.
I know, and I'm keeping an eye on.
Hasib,
While you're keeping an eye out, he said, "Go ahead."
Hasib kind of has an idea, and you can see it visibly on his face as his mouth opens and closes, and he writes on his little notepad, and he like shows it in front of Boss Man, and it says names of Assamite leader, Primogen.
He looks annoyed at almost like dismissing Hasib for a second, and then he sighs and says, "Do you happen to know the name of their leader, the Primogen, or whoever the hell they report to?"
I think his name was Karim.
Karim?
I don't have a last name listed.
And again,
Doesn't
the
really
no-
have
the
any
notepad-
mortal assets. Doesn't really have any mortal assets. At least not that I could find.
There's one more thing. If you happen to see any strange reports in the city, we had a bit of a magical accident here at the chantry. If you could just let me know, we'll clean it up. I don't expect anything to happen, but if you catch wind of anything strange, just maybe give me a
Kind
call.
of strange.
It's oh, sorry. I and then he just hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
Hasib looks a little mortified. He's trying to scribble notes, but he kept crossing them out as the conversation went. He just looks up at Jordy. You think he's going to call back?
Let's hope not. And with that, he's gonna get up and walk away.
First, Jordy, I'm sorry, Regent. I would like to call, if I could, my sire again. I still haven't been able to reach her, and we could use Philomena right now. I know Caius is here. He is an elder, but he's also And he looks around the room for the right word. He doesn't quite like us, it seems.
Don't think he really likes anyone. That's why he's not here in the chantry. Very well. We should know who's alive and who's dead. If your sire remains with us, we ought to know about it.
As he nods and bows his head slightly in gratitude. As he walks over to the phone, he like picks it up for a second and sets it down. What if she is gone? What if she's no longer, part of our test? I don't. She's well, my sire, and I haven't been, around without her support.
Hasib, you're not a fledgling. You don't report to your sire anymore.
Well, yes, I mean officially, right? The right. I understand, but your sire in this new life of ours. Well, at least for me, you are obviously you're older, but family is a thing in this new world. We have this new family, the clan, but also a sire is a part of that is like your parent, in a way. How do you deal? We saw something in the mirror. What are you going to do? Maybe I can learn. If my situation is the same.
Regent Carr was my sire. We're part of the pyramid. We march on regardless of who's with us and who's not. It's all we can do.
As he looks down to his notebook and back up. We march. There's nothing else. There's no funerals. There's no ritual rites of the dead. There's, well, in this case, dead for our situation. They're not here anymore.
We'll honor those lost to us when more becomes clear. We're not out of threat yet, Hasib. We're right in the middle of it. I'm not sure if I'm more afraid of the Assamites, this goddamn gargoyle, or our own executioner. Let alone the fact that we just had everyone important above us gone. These are new times. I don't have answers.
I see. I suppose all of this is going to be new to all of us. Then we'll have to find new answers. or perhaps adjust the old, or use the old, marching, or some such. But I will think on it. I thank you for your words, Regent. I just I haven't had anything like this happen to me before. I just hope my sire picks up the phone.
Very well. You see again, Jordy's very cold in his approach, but you see a smile form on his face, and at first, maybe a look of compassion, but it seems like his mind drifts elsewhere, and it's almost like a light bulb of an idea. Perhaps a bit of that look you've seen in his eyes when he establishes something petty. And he says, we should go and see the others.
Hasib kind of exhales. Yes. First, for the call, can I call?
Oh, yes. I'll wait out here.
And Hasib, he nods and gives a quick smile before frantically dialing the number that he has memorized
All right.
for Philomena.
As you call the number and put the phone to your ear, you hear the words. The number you have dialed is not currently available. Please check again at another time.
And I'm assuming this is different from like a voice. There's no voicemail,
There's no voice.
so it's like cut. Okay.
Yeah.
Hasib's face drops, as that's worse, a lot worse than what he was hoping for. He slowly puts the phone back onto the receiver. He'll grab his notebook and slowly move out of the room, shoving his pen into a pocket.
With that, Cass, you return back to the chantry.
Can I do something before Kess returns?
Of course. What would you like to do?
Maruna is going to leave a book. One of her favorite vampire novels. For Kess in one of the spots that he hangs out, and she is going to put a note in it that is sticking out slightly because she knows Kess will notice that. That says, "We need to talk.
All right.
You tell me when it's a good time for you."
Very nice. Tell me, what is the name of this book?
Carmilla?
Okay. Works well. Right then. With that, Kess, you return back to the chantry. As you arrive and make your way into the library, you would see let's see. Here we go. Maruna and Dr. Quangle poring over large tomes.
Welcome back.
What are we doing?
You were about to sign in at the front desk.
Without looking, he picks up a pen and signs his name. Whether or not it's on a line is up to anyone's guess. Just signs his name so it can be diagonal across a piece of paper.
Thank you.
We found a divination book. There's a ritual. Allows you to find someone. If you know, if you have something of theirs. They're a piece of part of them or something important to them. If we could find that piece, then we could use it to locate Hound.
Mark, would Cass know anything further about gargoyles and like their kind of tether to us? It's okay if the answer is no.
Why don't you make me an intelligence occult difficulty 6?
Okay. Oh, where's my icon? There it is. Three successes.
3 successes.
Well, 4 successes if we're not
Yeah.
counting the one.
We're not counting the one in this case, so it would be 4 successes. You would know that the gargoyles aren't so much a bloodline of the Tremere than they are a creation. Gargoyles themselves are created through what some consider to be an unholy ritual, which involves the combination of two vampire bloodlines into one being, crafting them into a eternal servant. Through this ritual, it weakens the mind of the gargoyle, strips them of their memories, or any possible memories, and binds them to the service of their creator. Generally, that service is then extended to that of the clan itself, as the gargoyle goes through, and the nice term would be education. It's probably closer to call it torture. Other than that, there have been a few. There was one big time in history that was known as the Gargoyle Revolt, where a bunch of gargoyles were freed from their binds and rose up against their Tremere masters. From that point on, the Tremere had an unspoken, or had a spoken rule, which was that the creation of gargoyles was banned and officially not allowed. And this was something that was agreed upon with the Camarilla as a whole, as part of a negotiation once the revolt happened. That is not to say that the clan has followed that rule. There are rumors, but there's no definitive proof, but it's quite possible that the ritual to create gargoyles still exists and is still performed to this night. Other than that, they're not strictly connected to the Tremere bloodline. Like, there's no connection through blood. Other than a blood bond, and with the way things have gone now, any of those connections have been severed.
What means something to a gargoyle?
I don't know yet. I suppose it probably depends on the gargoyle.
This is going to be fun.
I thought maybe we could check the dungeon.
Checking the dungeon would be a good idea.
Yeah, we should
Quarry.
also.
Oh, I
Sorry.
apologize. Continue, please.
We should also probably clean it.
Yes, there's the bodies and the dust from the former head of security. Quarry was employed, we'll call it employment, and now is free. So it is a sentient being that wants freedom. We should not underestimate it.
Where are Jordy and Hasib?
Can we enter at that point, Mark?
Absolutely. We see Jordy and Hasib enter.
To answer Kess's question, signing it, Dr. Quang will look back and say, about to sign in the sign-in sheet, I would assume.
As his name is diagonal across 3 lines.
Yeah, a Seabold will sign on a line, but he seems a bit sluggish at it, like his head's not here in the room fully.
I think Marina would probably clock that pretty quickly. Probably go over to Hasib.
Dr. Quengle, do you have any updates for us?
Quangle would look fully at Jordy. Has Jordy signed into the sign-in sheet? No.
Not yet.
Quangle would huff a bit, but then he'd answer the Regent's question. Yes, we found a book on divination. Half of the equation for the ritual is that we have something of meaning to our quarry, their blood, something along those lines. Some to anchor the ritual to them. That's what we need. There's a pen right there, Jordy.
He looks at you and sighs, and he'll reach for the pen and sign in after everyone else is. Do we have any means of understanding anything about... Have we investigated anything about this gargoyle, this Unbound?
We were going to the dungeon.
The executioner has not yet made it home, and his answering service is unavailable. It'll take some time to contact him.
I could call him.
Once he's home.
Perhaps if we are going into the prison, the holding cells, if the Unbound was kept there, maybe with that great strength could have made a little hidey hole of some sort. Maybe we could get Michael to talk to the since the stone, I'm not sure how it works exactly, but it's very in tune with the walls.
The appropriate term is romancing the stone.
Ah, right. I'll write that down.
At the very least, we want to make sure that we understand what the other gargoyle knows. That'll be important. So an interrogation is in order.
Why do...
He doesn't know anything.
Are we certain?
Yes.
Gargoyles, when we bind them to us, we wipe their ability to make any memories. Or of any they had before. So making this one obedient, in turn rid it of anything that would be remotely useful to us. That also means that someone had to create the two of them. So the executioner probably is aware of who made which one, so.
Mark, would we have record of the gargoyles that were made at this chantry? Would records have been kept
They would have been kept by the Regent.
by the Regent? Okay. Quangle looks over to Jordy. Far be it from me to tell you anything. However, the Regent's office usually keeps record of gargoyles and who are he looks to Hasib, their mother and fathers.
For you, Geordie, there are two things you know. One, you know that the Regent doesn't keep important documents like that in his office. He keeps it hidden somewhere safe. Bad news is, he didn't tell you where that was.
The Regent has... I think you'll fall short looking in the office.
Any idea where?
problem with a secure place is that when one passes, it's often uncertain where said secure place is.
So you don't
We could
know.
indeed. It was beyond my security clearance, which you are about to be aware of, Dr. Quangle, as we are currently in this state, and I'll remind everyone, the state we're in, we are still Tremere. We made ourselves kindred, not the other way around. Dr. Quangle, I see what has happened as nothing other than an act of war against us. And as such, I think it befitting that we name a wartime whip in interim capacity. As of right now, you'll act as clan whip until such a time as matters are sorted through properly. You will share full responsibility as the second in command with me. He smiles. And there's a look of a petty smile, like, welcome into responsibility for some of this.
Quangle knows. Quangle definitely knows what you're doing, and he just his lips purse a little bit because now I'm colder and all of this. But he says, "Thank you, Regent. I will perform the duties as described with utmost care and attention." Sensational.
Hasib?
Congratulations, Mr. Whip. I look forward to getting all of the orders, of course, on how to be. Is there going to be a new librarian?
For now, he will double as both duties.
Oh, okay. This is good. He is already an expert on the library, so yes. As he scribbles in a notebook.
Well then, to the basement.
Yes.
I will.
I will lead the way.
Regarding Michael, I believe you all called the other
Yes.
gargoyle.
His name's Michael.
Are we certain his memory is not suppressed?
It's a very long process to make one of them. And with the amount that would have been done, it's highly unlikely, in my opinion.
That's not what I mean, Mr. Price. Balk. And he uses command on Kess
Alright, then.
I would
to make a point.
question.
Does Kess attempt to resist? The
I don't
command?
even know what it is.
You got a bok. Is this a chicken bok?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, resist something, like whatever is happening.
Alright. Let's do the rolls for it.
Alright.
Luckily for you, Kess, it does not involve any rolls on your part.
Okay. Do you need to know anything off my sheet or no?
Yes. Your
Okay.
current willpower.
My current willpower. Let me grab it. My current willpower is... Wait, so if I had a temporary point last time that I didn't use, does that stay until the next night?
Yeah, you still keep it till it's spent. However, you
Alright.
can't go over your total when it comes to this.
I don't count it as part of it?
Yeah, you would not count out part of it if you're at your code roll already.
3, 5.
Alright.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Difficulty 5 for Geordie. Manipulation plus intimidation.
That's correct if I used one, right?
Let me have a look at your sheet.
'Cause I used a point of willpower 2 sessions ago. And then I have one that's temporary.
In that case, you should be back at your top then.
Oh, okay. 6.
Alright. Difficulty 6.
Three or two, depending on the botch.
I
can also roll willpower.
Botch is included in this. So for 2 successes, the command succeeds and goes on for about 12 seconds. So what is what does
I hate you.
I
hate you
Cats do as he's told to bark?
so much. I will get you for this, Bob. One day.
I'm not hearing any
You're
barking.
muted. I'm not gonna do it.
Well, what does Cats do?
I think that's a Bob question, not a me question.
Oh no, I think you have some control over your interpretation of the command to balk. So this is dominate, effectively.
Yeah. Dominate. He's
So,
forcing you to perform an
I am-
action that he commands.
Okay, I don't. Are you saying BAULK or BOK?
Like a chicken. But you could interpret
well,
it how
that-
you want.
I have no idea how to interpret that.
If you'd like, I can just
I mean, I assume as the literal. I assume it's the literal, but in a very cast tone of voice.
Very
So-
monotone bark.
Monotone and disinterested. What a singular monotone disinterested.
You
I think
all
the-
see is Cass bucks like a chicken for about 12 seconds before snapping back to reality.
The minute he does, the sign-in, like, book, whatever it is, goes hurling at the regent's head.
No. Quangle audibly
Not
says
the
no.
sign-in book.
Not the book as it
Single.
flies across the room.
Sacred text.
Marina
No.
just
No points in that, but you know.
Marina grins to herself.
Cass, why don't you make a dexterity and...
Sure.
I guess this would be dexterity and...
I like athletics or
Athletics?
something.
Athletic.
Yeah, dexterity and
Back in my
athletics. And this will be difficulty 8, because you're flinging a book across the room.
I mean, yeah, I'm just. Well, how far is he from me?
Probably a few feet, 5 feet, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
5 feet.
There's a
It's fine.
table
The
somewhere
point
in
will
there,
get
too.
across regardless on if I succeed or not. The point is there. Oh, I got a success.
One success. Yeah, the book is flung at you.
Can I
Jordy.
can I dodge?
Sure.
Oh,
Dexterity, athletics.
Yeah. Difficulty?
Difficulty 7.
Gotta love, like, this is why the PvP
Oh, I
breaks
hate
out.
you.
Jordy kind of steps out of the way and bats it to the side.
The doctor hits the table with his hand and says, "There will be no chaos in my library."
The point, Mr. Price, is that his mind could have been altered. We don't know exactly who's behind what right now. Our clan, and potentially anyone who's learned from them, might possess the ability to make memories forgotten.
Is there a way to undo that?
Only those with higher skill are capable of such.
How much higher skill?
One needs to at least be able to make one forget, to be able to make one remember.
Someone who probably
Aye,
could
it's
do
the same
that.
power.
Yeah. Someone who probably could do that would be the executioner.
Who we can't contact.
I mean, if we wait honestly, if we wait 30 minutes and let the man get home, we might be able to have like 10 missed calls.
Perhaps a good time for us to send a messenger to my sire's domicile, and I'm sure Philomena can help us with all of this.
How did the phone call go?
It no one was on the other side again.
No one answered the call?
Yes.
How bad is Hasib at lying?
Hasib is awful at lying. It's written all over his face that he did. I mean, while technically true, he kind of squirms a little bit as he stands there.
Is there?
Is there... Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You go first.
Is there something you're holding back from us, Magister Kavisna?
The call is a little different from when you could leave a message. Perhaps she's fallen behind on paying the phone bill, and accounts temporarily disabled.
Or it's disconnected, just like the other numbers we were given. I think he's not known for like merciful things, but he looks at Hasib and says, when we have more in order, we will confirm the fate of your sire, one way or the other.
Of course, I appreciate any efforts in the due time. Right.
Is there any way to tell if someone's memory has been altered? Is that something you can see it more easily than you can change?
Those skilled in aspects, perhaps, but again, it's
I could
higher
try.
capability. He nods. You seem to have a way with visions. Perhaps you're attuned to such things. And it seems that Michael trusts you. Very well.
All right.
I have read in some of the tomes about some of the clan strengths. I have heard that Clan Ventru has many skilled in the abilities of domination.
Indeed.
Quangle does have some ends at the Ventru, but he would come and say, I do not want to bother my friends with any of this, because one, the executioner, an elder in the clan, wants us to keep this quiet, and two, we probably shouldn't have this gargoyle. So before we go reaching out to other clans, let's consider that.
I'm gonna go talk to Michael then.
Do you, Mr. Price, perhaps you would accompany her. The rest of us, we should make our way to the basement for now. See what we can find. Jordy will bend down and pick up that book if no one else has yet and put it back on the table.
Oh, the doctor already picked it up. Doctor picked it up, put it on the table. You've made my library a palace of chaos. Look what you've done.
Pages are bent for sure.
Oh yeah, it got hurled. The entire time they were having that conversation, Kes did not take his eyes off of Jordy. Marina, let's go.
Okay. She'll head off. When they're... She's kind of looking at Kessa's expression, too. When they're out of sight, she'll say, do you want to get back at him?
I will. I have the means. It's alright.
Let me know if you need anything.
No, I think I already have what I need.
Great. I hope everything went well. Your outing.
Everything's fine.
If you keep telling yourself that, maybe one day you'll believe it.
Marina. I've told you before, be careful what you say to people like us.
And I've told you before that there's more than one way to do things.
Let's go talk to a gargoyle.
Michael.
Okay.
She'll go up to her room where Michael is. Probably still sitting on the bed, I assume.
Oh yes, he is still there, sitting by himself calmly.
Hi. Hi, Michael.
Ruby. Hello.
Hello. I think you've met already, but I want to formally introduce you to Kes.
He looks to you, Kes. Stony eyes stare into you. Hello, Kes.
Kes gives like a half-hearted wave. Just
He
leaning
watches
on
you,
the
like,
wall across her.
Repeats your action. Looking a little confused.
Marina will go and sit next to him on the bed and she'll say, I'm gonna try to check something, okay?
Okay. Alright.
And she'll just gently put her hand on his hand
Mm-hmm.
and close her eyes.
Alright. what are you attempting to achieve?
I am trying to sense if there is any sort of memory, if there was any sort of memory altering magic that was done. I can use thaumaturgical sight, which is like aura perception except for blood stuff, blood magic stuff.
Make the roll for aura perception.
Oh, God. Is there a difficulty?
I'm gonna say difficulty 8.
Okay.
Alright. As you focus your vision on his aura, you can see that his current emotional state is curiosity, but also a bit of fear and a general sense of anxiety. But as you look towards your visions of thaumaturgy, you can see that it's as if his whole body is covered in these strange markings, symbols, and runes that you would imagine were what were used in the creation ritual for gargoyles. You can see points where the markings that would leave a trail as if they were writings, but where some of them have faded or been scratched or been destroyed. As if through either the process of time or some sort of interference, the original creation ritual used on him is faulty. There might be a way to fully break whatever it is that's binding him, at least from the ritual side. Or perhaps even fix the ritual so that the binding returns. As it is now, it looks like the ritual is in some sort of nebulous space.
She'll say, "Thank you, Michael. That's all. I don't need. Thank you for your cooperation." And she'll turn to Cass and say, "There's something wrong with the ritual that was done. It's not intact. It's not entirely broken, but it's not entirely there either."
Someone really made a mess of their job.
Yeah. Or it's part of everything else. Maybe, who knows, maybe it was intact at one point, and maybe, like everything else here, like all of the rest of the magic, it's depleted.
Alright. Well, while they're rooting around in what is my dungeon, but that's fine.
No, it's your dungeon.
Yeah, it is. Didn't really want it anyway. I suppose we'll go relay this to them, see if they found anything worthwhile.
All right. You know, Cass, we can't let Caius have any more control than he already does. I think you know that better than anyone.
And why is that?
He's dangerous. And
What?
I don't know. Bonds are broken. Whatever he had over you, he doesn't anymore.
You're making a lot of assumptions, Maruna.
Maybe. I have my own way of knowing things just like you do. It's different, but it's not any less.
Don't speak so openly against Caius in front of anyone else. Especially Jordy. I don't think it'll go
What?
well for you.
Maybe not, but it won't go well for anyone. I don't have that much time.
A timetable one man made up doesn't mean anything.
I'm not talking about one man. I'm talking about the universe runs on its own timetable, regardless of what any men, kindred, or kind choose to do. Time is constant. It keeps marching on. And fate happens. It doesn't care whether or not you're ready for it.
I don't believe in fate.
What do you believe in?
That's the key. Nothing. We should go tell our regent what we found.
All right.
As you go to leave, you hear Michael speak. Helpful.
Yes.
I like being helpful.
Thank you. You're very helpful.
Sits back down in the corner of the room.
Feel free to do whatever you want, by the way. You can. She'll give one of her tarot decks. Not her, like, one that she uses the most, but she has a collection, as all tarot readers do. So she'll give him one, and just, you want to look at these, maybe, if you're bored.
Takes it. He watches you. Takes a card out from the pack.
What card is it? I do look over the shoulder.
Justice.
She smiles.
Pretty. As he looks at the art.
I think so too. We'll be back.
He nods. And then you watch as he just dumps out the cards and begins to go through them.
She kind of laughs a little bit to herself. We'll head out.
Alright. With that, what are the rest of you doing?
Basement time.
Basement time.
The prison or the holding cell, whatever we call that very grim, dark area.
Dungeon?
The
Is that what it
Dungeon.
is?
The
The
dungeon.
dungeon.
Alright, you guys arrive at the dungeon.
Can I ask one question for clarification I meant to ask last scene?
Sure,
Do,
Tosh.
what do we know about the head, like the head of security? Where was their office or quarters or whatever they had? Did they have anything formal in the chantry?
She essentially within the dungeon there's like a little side room where the head of security has all the important security things, keys and such like that. Other than that, she just used her own personal room and office, which you would have access to.
Perfect.
On the way down, Dr. Quengle would have said to Haseeb, Haseeb, would you kindly bring a broom and dustpan with you for the remains of the former head of security? We have to start cleaning.
Of course, yes. Whatever dust they put there, I can get it into a bin.
Thank you. As Haseeb would be going off to get the broom, if Jordy and Quengle have a small bit of time together, Quengle would say to Jordy, you pick a curious way to reward someone who put their life on the line for you.
What do you mean?
Mr. Price put his hand into an orb of dubious origin to save yours when your title was in question, and now you've dominated him and made him buck like a chicken or similar fowl.
To make a point, yes.
To make a point. Right? So I shall
Make it clear what could be done to the gargoyle's mind.
Jordy, dear Jordy, the pyramid has fallen. What bound us before is no longer there. You have to inspire duty, a form of loyalty in people around you, or things can get very hairy.
You could learn a lot about loyalty, Dr. Quengle.
I could. Inform me, please.
Now's not the time for that. You said something that just made me think. We'll have to wait. Let's do this first.
No worries. Let us go.
Haseeb would finally rejoin with a broom, a small garbage can, and it looks like a pot from perhaps normally plants go into, but it's empty. I
See,
I think the ashes should go into urns, for whenever it is safe enough for us to do some kind of remembrance or something.
you didn't dump out one of poor Maruna's plants, did you?
It was already dead. It was in the corner. I mean, it wasn't.
Very good,
This
Magister.
point, could we get a perception investigation for those who are searching the dungeon and the corner office of the dungeon?
what's the difficulty?
This would be difficulty standard, so 6. Your botch does not count for this. Alright, so 1 success, 2 successes. So as you go through the kind of corner office where the head of security would normally keep things relevant for the dungeon, you can see there is like keys that sits on like a little handle. You also see at a large desk a number of vials, like test tubes that is in like one of those wooden holders that they use to hold test tubes, and they each seem to be filled with red, deep red liquid. You would assume to be blood. There looks to be 5 of them. Actually, no, there would be 9 of them in total.
I'm going to go over to one of the vials, take it in my hand, and I'm going to dip my finger into it and taste it.
All right, roll me a d10 and then roll me your taste for blood. Botcher's alive for this.
D10, right? First?
Yeah, d10 first. Okay.
They're not labeled.
They are not.
You see why I'm so like on it about freaking signing into the library, Dewey Decimal System. This is what I have to do. This is what I inherited. Nothing was labeled. Books are all over the place. You know, Mercury's in retrograde, so this book goes here.
Maybe there's a log somewhere. I mean, who has just vials of blood sitting?
Two successes.
All right. This is in fact vampiric blood. The vampire is not recently fed. Has not. No, no, that one. The generation is 10th. And I'll say, you would know that this is the blood of a Tremere.
Fascinating. Tremere blood.
Is this usual? I mean, is this our, you know, each member of the chantry, the head of security? Maybe this is for tracking purposes?
Potentially.
Perhaps.
Do you taste the others?
Mine as well.
Alright, roll me d10 and then roll me your taste for blood. Okay. Taste for blood, Botch is alive. Alright. It is as you are casting the thaumaturgy that you use to focus on the power and learn more about the blood, you feel it actively wane, as if the power itself weakens suddenly. You're conscious of it, and it's a worrying feeling. However, for this one, you can tell that it is not Tremere blood. and the subject is
Not
indeed a
Tremere.
vampire. The subject has not recently fed, and their generation is higher than yours, rather.
Hasib, hold this one.
Oh, of course. And
This is not Tremere blood. Perhaps it will be of use.
Hasib grips it with both hands and suddenly looks a little nervous about holding a vial.
I think Jordy was in there too right away, just very decisive, making decisions. All of a sudden, you see him just kind of looking down at the ground for a minute.
Is there anything else in here, Regent, or should we move to the cell that we think the Unbowed was in?
Yes. Why don't the two of you continue? I'm just gonna go through the rest of these vials here.
Would you like Hasib to return the vial that you separated to you for safekeeping, or shall he keep it?
Maybe find a place for it. We want to make sure that it's apart from the others. It could be the Unbowed's blood, or another clue, perhaps.
I would keep it safe. Does the vial have, I'm guessing, a stopper in it so it doesn't get dried out or anything?
Yeah, there would be a stopper. It's used for.
Right, let's go look for treasure and things in the dungeon. Come on, Hasib.
Right, and he grabs the broom. He puts the vial in to the folds of his clothes. He has many pockets, too many pockets. And gets the pot as well. Drags it out.
Maruna's going to be very angry at you. I think that's what you hear as they're leaving. Quago's looking at the urn. She's going to be very mad at you. I just want you to know that and be ready for it.
Alright then. In that case, who is doing what next? What is Kess and Maruna up to?
We were coming downstairs to join
Alright.
Yeah.
the people raiding my new office.
Yeah.
And what is Jory up to? Where is he heading off to next?
He's going through the rest of the vials, Mark. I just don't know if you
Alright.
want me to keep going with that.
Make another roll for it, and then we'll just consider that used for the rest of them.
And
Imagine going through someone else's office.
Listen.
Yeah.
I
Unheard of.
am not taking comments at this time.
Karma.
It's not even karma. I didn't do anything.
With that, you are able to tell the rest of them are Tremere blood, a smattering of generations. From what you can tell through your tasting of them,
Is one my own?
one of them is in fact your own. One of them you recognize as your own. And you would assume that some of the other ones are in fact the other members of the chantry. Which one is which is hard to know without a more precise ritual.
Hmm. I think he'll make a count for the ones that he understood the generation of,
Mm-hmm. Sure thing.
and then did he feel it wane again to the power?
Not this time. Probably they're actually, through your uses of it, there are bits where you feel it wane again, confirming that it wasn't just a one-off.
Perfect.
At this point, you see Kess and Maruna arrive to the office.
He's not very perceptive. Maybe he's still doing his thing with one of the.
Yeah.
How, in theory, how thick is the door to this office? Like if I shut it, but I assume that people can't hear me on the other side. I get that we're kindred.
I'd say it's not actually a door. It's more like a gate. Like it's one of those large prison gates.
Never mind.
All right.
You can whisper.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Testing the vials of blood and seeing that Jordy has absolutely no idea that they've entered the room. He'll just from behind Jordy go, "What do you have?"
Evidence for now. I'll put the vial back with the stopper in it.
Whose is it?
I'm not certain yet.
No. Michael, the rituals that have been done on him, it's hard to pinpoint specific rituals if his memory specifically has been tampered with, but he's covered in them, but they're not all intact.
What do you mean non-intact?
The binding ritual, for instance, it's not entirely broken, but it's like it's been scuffed up, worn down. It's faulty.
There's a look of concern on Jordy's face. He doesn't say anything. Kind of seems like he's looking down at the ground again.
Tess doesn't interact with the conversation while they're having the conversation. He starts very thoroughly going through everything in the room.
Most of what you find is just a scattering of different papers. There's like a list that's like a prisoner list. And it has like a bunch of names that were on it but have been either erased or scratched out. People that have either come through, been there, or faced execution. There is one for the Unbound. One other thing I would like to note, because I forgot to say it, for Geordie, there was in fact one other test tube with the blood that was not Tremere.
Okay. And that's all I know is it was not Tremere.
Yeah. Again, you could use a more precise ritual to find out more of what it is, but that's what you get from Taste of Blood. Other than that, there's not much else in the office. In fact, there's a good layer of dust around a lot of it, as if it hasn't been used very often.
Do I see any indication that Kaya spends time on and off in here? Because it feels like a logical place that he'd set up shop.
It's possible, though it's technically not his office. He has an office outside the chantry. His haven.
Cass will walk to the door. I'm going to look around for some things.
Before you do, Mr. Price, what is your familiarity with the Path of Blood?
Why do you ask?
because I'm your regent and I ask questions. I need to take an accounting of who knows what.
I know of it, Jordy.
Are you practicing it?
No, my studies took me elsewhere.
Very well.
Tess turns on his heel and leaves the room.
What are... I think Marina's gonna go and... Actually, before she does, she's gonna turn to Jordy and just say, you know, everyone else here is has something that's holding them back. Everyone has demons, the highest that bind them, except you. The only bonds you have are the ones that you create for yourself.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means you hold yourself back.
That's something coming from you.
What do you mean?
Have you forgotten? The ways in which you held yourself back.
I have not held myself back. You choose to see it that way still. Then fine.
Whatever.
She just kind of stares him down.
Dr. Quengle and the Magister in the other room, if you wish to. Aid them.
She'll just
He
nod
looks-
slowly.
He looks back to the vials again.
All right. You know, I never wanted to be your enemy. And then she'll leave.
So you said this is a gate. So are we all in the next room awkwardly hearing this?
Essentially, yeah.
Like while we're sweeping up ashes? Okay.
Probably a little bit, yeah. The sound carries.
Okay.
We're playing Guitar Hero while our parents get divorced
Yeah.
downstairs.
Mom and Dad are fighting again. Let's go play something.
I think I want to roll things like Pendragon so bad. All the time. I think Kes, because he's heard this, comes back into the doorway because Jordy's just fighting everybody. Jordy.
Yes?
When you have a moment, I'd like to have a word in your office.
Very well, Mr. Price.
As soon as possible.
Your request is noted.
You don't want me to say what I have to say in front of everyone else. And then he walks out of the room. I mean, they all heard that part. He walks back
Yeah.
out where everybody's sweeping up ashes. And continues to go through things because that's what Cat does.
Marina kind of just smiles.
It is at this point you all feel the raising of your hackles. What hair you have stands on end as you all come to realize the sun is rising soon, and you will need to rest for the day.
Hasib, have you found anything of note in the ashes?
And as he's like upending another dustbin into the urn. Let's see. Should I roll something for our investigations in here?
I'm gonna say you're not gonna find much, except for maybe on the bodies of some of the ghouls that are like starting to smell.
Yeah.
Make a perception investigation. Standard diff.
Perception. I get one aspect, so there.
All successes. As you're looking around, you do manage to look through the ghouls, and you do find on them some weapons. Specifically, one has what looks to be a pistol, and the other one has what looks to be a machete.
A machete.
They also both carry stakes.
So it's Hasib, he shakes his head as he's gotten all the dust into the urn now, and he pulls out the machete over and kind of sits on the ground, and with two hands he's trying to etch Kareen Zeltsin the words.
One thing you would
It's
also
not
notice is
going well.
the machete actually has blood on it.
I think it takes a second for Hasib to really. I think the blood gets onto the urn, and he's like, it's covering the letter. Oh. And he holds up the machete. It sort of wobbles. With this probably isn't the ghoul's blood. Probably.
Hasib, you may have just found exactly what we needed. Good job.
That's great.
Thank you, Mr. Whip. I though I am no expert in blood. Dr. Whip, Dr. Whip Quangle. So are you are probably more the expert in the blood area? And he walks the blade over.
Oh no. Don't give that to me. Turn it over to the Regent. It's always good that you take credit for the things that you do.
Oh, of course, and Hasib will go over to the bar door and he'll knock on the bars.
He's like, come on, man, I'm trying to give you a W, dude. You're not on the bars.
It knocks again. Mr. Regent?
Magister, why are you knocking?
This is a door. I did not want to intrude.
Come in.
Thank you. And he open the bars, step in. It looks like he's awkwardly holding onto a machete. He's not used to holding on to any kind of weapon like this. I discovered one of the ghouls or whatever's on the walls. Had this. They must have used it in the fight, and perhaps with the blood on here, hit the escaped gargoyle.
Very well.
I am no expert in these kinds of divinations into the blood, so and he sets the machete onto the table next to the vials.
It's like dried, I'd assume. Or is it wet? Like he couldn't use taste of blood on that, right?
I think you could, actually. I would allow it.
Okay. If he can, then he will chant something quietly with his eyes closed, and then.
And Hasib, in Hasib fashion, he would like just something pop in his head, and as he's concentrating, Hasib would speak. Oh, blood is important to people if that's what we need for the ritual, right? To find. Oh, sorry. You are sorry.
One success. You once again.
One success.
Feel that fading feeling, as your power doesn't seem to be as strong as it should be. From what you can tell, the blood does match the same taste that you have tasted from one of the two vials that are not of Tremere blood.
Oh, it doesn't taste like any of the ones I've tried so far? Right?
It does. It tastes like one of the two that don't taste like Tremere blood from the vials.
Okay.
So it seems to match one of those ones that you have found.
Hey, he'll try again because he has one of them on him, right? Or no, one he gave to Seeb.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Is Seeb still carrying it around?
Yeah, he still has it in one of his pockets.
He'll just say, that vial, Hasib, could you?
Oh, yes, I still have care of it, and he reaches in, grabs it from a pocket, and hands it over.
He'll just try to match the taste to see if it's the same one.
You confirm that it's
or if it's the
indeed.
other.
Yeah, you confirm that it's the one that. It would be the one you gave to Hasib, actually.
Do you know what you're holding there?
It seems to be a vial of blood. He doesn't quite on the spot think that it's the same as the blades.
It seems what you're holding there might very well be the blood of the unbound.
Oh, that is. Well, that is good, right? We can do something with this.
Yes. Hopefully.
I've collected the ashes of Kareen. We can place them somewhere. Maybe we should have a room for this.
Don't worry, I'll take them. I'll put it right next to the Regent's hand.
Oh.
The former Regent.
Oh, are we putting them in your
laboratory?
Your laboratory. Okay. Right.
With that, he'll shut the door and open it back up to the lab. Not the door between the two, but the door to the dungeon. So he's moved the room, assuming that works.
It does. Laboratory moves.
And on the table, in embalming fluids, is the hand of the former regent.
Everyone, I have an announcement. If you could come here, please.
She'll gather. Marina will gather.
For most of tonight, I've had a fear that I haven't shared with all of you. But given that it is nearing sunrise and I don't know what state we will wake up in, it seems that the power of our blood might be fading.
Yes.
Rituals fading, blood bonds fading, disciplines fading.
Oh, but sir, how does what does that mean for us? We are already in such a delicate way.
I don't know. But we should move to stop it. If we can. I'm not sure what would happen to something that's dead when the power that drives it leaves.
Michael looks at the urn.
Maruna's kind of just nodding. Yes. It's... We're stronger together right now, and we need to be able to trust each other. I know that's not in any of our nature, but whatever that takes, we need to figure it out. Or the forces that are pulling us in different directions, that's going to be the end of all of us. I've seen it.
Can you please explain more of it? You say we're being pulled in different directions by forces, but do you have a bit more that for us to go off of?
The figures, some of them were blurry, but we're all tied to these red strings. I like to think of them as strings of fate. She looks at Kes. Pointedly. But whatever you want to call them, everyone has something that has a hold on them, and the weaker we become, the tighter those things pull at us. Whether it's that you need to figure out what it is that's controlling you, and you need to figure out how to take that control back. All of us do, myself included. Do any of you have...
Perhaps
Go ahead.
What you just said is very puzzling. Forgive me for saying so, but you sound like a Malkavian.
I don't take that to be the insult that the rest of you probably would.
I just mean that I don't know what to do with what you just said.
Does anyone have any blood bonds left? Does anyone have someone who scares them, who makes them feel like they can't do the thing that they need to do, the thing that they should do? What are you afraid of? And how is it holding you back?
Sorry, I just rolled something for myself. The doctor is silent.
For some of us, it might be people. That's the most obvious one. Have someone you feel like is controlling you, or that could. But beyond the red strings, for most of us, it's blurry. What I saw, it was blurry. We were all at this table, like a poker table. We had cards. And the red strings pulling at us until our heads popped off.
You are an expert in the cards. What did the cards say?
Disorder. Disarray. Control. A need for. We need leadership. And we need to trust each other. We need to find a way to trust each other and work together.
Each of you feel this cold, oppressive feeling upon you. The sun is rising. You don't have much time left.
He's going to... Jordy steps forward to the door again, closes it, and he opens it. And it's to Hasib's quarters. And he says, let's make this quick so everyone can return. We'll meet at sunrise. Or sundown. We'll meet when we wake.
Sunset. Somerset.
Hasib nods. His eyes kind of lingered on the urn for a second as he was deep in thought, and he gives a glance towards Maruna and smiles, and then heads into his room.
She'll smile back and wave.
I'll close and open again, and this will be for Maruna.
She'll wave to everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow night.
And then in order of embrace, it'll go to Kess next.
He doesn't say anything. He goes in and shuts the door.
Then he looks to Quangle after. And he closes and opens back up, and he says, we're going to have to figure out this blood thing, Dr. Quangle. I think it's happening fast.
The weakening of the blood. Yes, I'll get on that. really get on that.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Of course. Yes. Tomorrow.
This feud we have means nothing if we're both Ash.
Ah, yes. Do not worry. Our game of cat and also well-dressed cats will not end in destruction.
Well, thank you for your compliments. Proceed.
I sleep here.
I'll shut the door.
You're all in my room. Everyone get out of my room.
Get out of my
Why
room.
is it always my room?
Oh, you sleep in the lab? I
Yeah,
didn't know.
this is it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay. And then he'll open again and I'll walk in to his own quarters.
All right. With that, each of you find your place to rest for the day. Was there anything anyone else would like to do in the final moments before they disappear into the sleep of the damned? Emily?
I have a dumb question for someone who's played Tremere this much. If I were to cast a ritual, does that cost me blood?
Depends on the
Not
ritual.
usually.
Didn't.
Yeah, it
Wake
depends
with
on the ritual.
Wake with evening's freshness.
That can be done. Easy enough.
Okay, I do that before I go
Make
to bed.
a... you rolled a 1, didn't you?
Roll to one where?
Yes. The D10 I asked you for at the beginning. Make me
That's
a
creepy. I hate it.
intelligence and occult roll. And this will be a difficulty 9.
Oh,
Botch is
yay.
alive.
Occult.
And can for the rituals that our characters have that we would cast in the beginning of the night, can we assume those are just like automatically done, or do we have to tell you that we've done them?
I'll assume you're doing them. If there's a roll associated, make the roll. If there's not, then it just happens.
That was a botch. Just a straight botch.
Alright. Cass, as you focus in on calling on the power, nothing. Your connection to the magic of the Tremere, the thaumaturgy, is gone.
That's reassuring.
You
Make
then
a
find
mental-
yourself have a feeling, like a burning feeling in your chest. Before suddenly a torrent of blood escapes from your
Okay.
mouth, covering the floor. You lose 1 point of blood
1 point. Okay.
as your body
I got it.
expels it.
Well, I think he sits there kind of doing the like heaving thing that one does when one has been ill.
That's another thing. You find yourself breathing, and you could feel this burning feeling in your lungs that you have not felt since you have been a Tremere. Before eventually it begins to fade and you feel normal.
I think he sits there for a minute, about as long as he can, and then cleans up what he can of the blood that's ruined my floors.
Unfortunately, you don't
And
have
then-
enough time to fully clear it before you feel that oppressive feeling that you must
Throw
sleep.
towels on it.
Alright.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
Nasib would have a little thing before he passes out.
Alright.
Which involves does rushing out of his room to shove a note under Maruna's door before crashing back at his room. But all the note would have, it's just a ripped out piece of paper from his notebook. There's a hastily scribbled picture of what looks to be a little seed, a little seedling with a sprout, and above it says regrowth question mark.
He kind of looks at it and smiles. And she's going to take the note with her and she's gonna pull a card before bedtime. I think this is probably a nightly ritual she has, is whatever thoughts she has at the end of the day, she'll pick a card to kind of meditate on while she rests.
As you pull out a card, it is the devil.
She sighs. How, this communication that happens, is it only one way?
Which specific one is it in this case? What ability?
It's not an ability that
Oh.
I have. It is a thing that I know I can receive messages from a person.
Oh, generally, yeah.
It's just one way. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go to bed.
Alright. With that, as each of you lie down in preparation for the day's sleep, you feel your body begin to stiffen. The blood begins to fade and pull back, as if pulling into the deepest part of your body in fear of the rising sun that threatens to destroy it, to destroy you. But you are safe, for now. And though for most of you it is a dreamless slumber, closer to death than it is to sleep, Maruna, you see something a little different. We cut to a scene where we see a man kneeling on the ground. We see that this man is completely naked. We watch as a figure stands behind him, or rather sits behind him, looking over the man as if he were an object, a piece of furniture, as we watch a sharp quill pushed into the back skin of the kneeling man, carving forth letters that begin to be carved into his back, as we see blood rush to the surface and pull down. You hear the sounds of faded screaming before you come to realize that it is the man that is screaming. At least he would be, if he had a mouth. You see, where his mouth would be is just skin, continuing to scream into nothing, as the sharp quill continues to write across his back in a language you do not recognize. We see a smirk from the figure that is carving into his back before they stand up in the darkness, moving over to what looks to be a large, flesh-colored map. This is a map of the city of New Angleham. And you watch as the figure leans forward, one hand extending as you see tipping their fingers are large talons. You watch as the figure crosses off a part of the map, cutting into the flesh as you begin to see it bleed out and down. Closer and closer. I will find you soon. As we pull back to see the hideous flesh. Well, actually, it looks almost like a mix between muscle and skin. You can see like the tendons and tendrils rolling up his face, leading to what looks to be a crown of twisted-looking horns. The figure's skin is deathly pale as it grins and taps upon the map. I will find you soon enough. There's no way you can hide from me. In this moment, you realize you are facing, though not directly, a fiend. A creature of unimaginable evil. It is at that point we will end the session for today.
I have some follow-up questions, but I was thinking,
I'm
wait.
sure there are questions you'll be able to ask and have answered in the next episode of House of Tremere.
I have questions.
I think with this, we can go to our outros. This time, we're going to start off with, Bob, why don't you give us your outro?
Taking Time Bob Gaming here. We do a whole bunch of stuff over on my channel related to Pendragon, and I'm also maybe I'll do a quick shout out to TTRPG Talks, which is a new monthly podcast I've been doing with game designers. I have managed to interview Matthew Dawkins. Since if you're watching Vampire the Masquerade, you know him as the author of Chicago by Night and one of the authors of Vampire 5th Edition. And next month's looking like it's going to be the legendary Sandy Peterson, creator of Call of Cthulhu. So, yeah, just wanted to do a quick shout out to that. All these guys are great. I play games with all these folks, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm rambling.
Perfect. All right. Up next, Emily, why don't you give us your outro?
I'm Emily. I played Cass Price. Everything's going fine. It's totally fine. My floors are ruined. I'm super mad at people. And I didn't find anything useful. So he's doing great. I don't have to plug anything because Bob plugged it for me. So I feel better now. Yeah.
All right. All good. Up next, Ree, why don't you give us your outro?
Hello, everyone. I'm Ree. I was Maruna tonight. It was great. I really want to know. I have some questions about that vision, but they'll wait till next week. You can check out stuff that I do with Mortal Rolls on Mondays. We stream on Twitch. It's super fun. We play a Pathfinder 2e game inspired by Greek and Roman mythology. If you are on our Instagram, we also just released an infomercial. That's kind of fun. So.
Very nice. Yeah. All right. Up next, Zach, why don't you give us your outro?
Sure. Yeah, mine's pretty simple. I'm just Zach. I play games sometimes, and today I played Hasib. Little Hasibi boy is slowly going downhill as far as his attitude towards things. Even if this is a test, it's getting him down in the dumps as more and more dour things happen. But there's a little hope in there. There's a little hope. I'm excited to see how everything crumbles even more as our blood deteriorates, and how that affects us and how we view our characters view their status in their unlife. So yeah.
Yeah, very nice. And finally, last but certainly not least, Cyberbro, why don't you give us your outro?
All right, I am a Cyberbro. Bob already promoted this other stuff that I do. So today I was playing Dr. Quangle. Good fun was had, and yeah, I need a new tailor. Caius cannot be better dressed than me. I need a new tailor. So if you know anybody,
Mhm.
let me know.
All right, very nice. And I am Mark, aka the Cat's Meow. Welcome to my channel. I hope you've enjoyed this lovely session of House of Tremere, our fourth episode of many more. Some specific shoutouts I'd like to do. A big thank you to Ree for all the lovely art and work she has done to help us out here. Also designing this lovely word for it.
Layover?
Layover. Outlay, layover, whatever the word is. It's beautiful! And thank you to Ree for doing the lovely work for it. Other things I would like to shout out is next week I will be doing the final episode of Isle of the Damned, the finale, where we will maybe have a special guest that you may recognize. I would also say, I mean, that runs on Tuesdays at like 3 a.m. EST. But for me, it's Tuesdays 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. AEST. And if you are awake at that absurd time, if you're an American, or if you're like us who live in a reasonable place, I can't say that with a straight face. Please
I'm not
join
gonna
us.
disagree.
Yeah. If you're able to, please come support us. The finale is going to be a big send-off for that game and is going to set up into the next season of, actually, the next chapter, I should say, of that tale. You can also check out the YouTube channel if you're on the Twitch. Just put exclamation mark YouTube and it will give you the link. And if you're on Twitch, please give us a follow. Every little bit helps. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe for more, as I have more series that are coming down the pipeline, new ideas that will be unleashed upon the world, and more ways to torment my players, who I love very dearly. With that, how many people do we got? What are we working with? 9? Let's do a raid out. Why not?
Dorktales is live with Mage, Victorian Age, Mage Ascension, it looks like.
Alright. Let's go say hello to DuckTales. Anyone like to say while we get the raid ready? Any last announcements or notes or anything?
I've got a pot of bolognese on the stove that I've been looking at for this entire game.
Very nice.
Oh no.
Well then, as we like to say here in the land down under, it's bolognese time. Have a good night, y'all. Bye!
No one says that.
Bye.
Good night.
Not know it's